Let's take a look. This is from BrownsWire.com. 4 biggest questions the Browns must answer in 2023. So next season. Number 1, is it the right regime? Is the right regime in place? Number 2, can Nick Chubb handle another season of 300-plus carries? Number 3, will Deshaun Watson look like the Deshaun Watson of old? And will Jim Schwartz fix all of the problems defensively? Those are all pretty valid. I think they're going to be more of a pass-first team. You don't pay a guy $230 million guaranteed to be a run-oriented team. You just don't.
They ran the ball, I believe it was 44% of the time, which was either 7th or 9th. I'm getting numbers transposed in my head. Sorry about that. But they were a top 10 running team. And I do think that they're going to scale back a ways from that a little bit. And just look what we talked about at the start of the show. The teams that are still playing, they had run games, but they're based on passing games. Even San Francisco, what did they do with George Kittle and Brandon Ayuk and those guys? They spread the ball around. I think that's what Stefanski wants to do as well. That's sort of the same tree from the Shanahan branch of offense. They're going to be able to do that. They have to get better wide receivers at it. But I agree with you. I don't think Nick Chubb getting 300 carries again, that's not a huge worry for me. Corey Kinnan, the editor who wrote that, I actually pushed back with him a little bit about that because I don't think we're going to have to worry about that one. 200, 225 maybe is fine. And I think that will keep Chubb a little bit fresher too. And, I do think they're going to be going more towards using him more judiciously, especially like in the middle of games where, he kind of, there's room for that. But, as far as the right regime, that's one I don't think any of us can effectively answer until we see it this coming fall. And the same is true with Jim Schwartz. Look, I'm bullish on Jim Schwartz. I think he's going to help. But if you're relying on a new coordinator to fix the personnel issues, it's not going to work. They have to upgrade the talent, specifically on the defensive line and in the middle of the field right behind it. Now, I do think that a better defensive line is going to help the linebackers and the safeties play better. And I do think that Schwartz is going to get more out of them. But he can't be the magic button. He's not the panacea. He's got to get some help himself. And that's, they're great questions. And that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about. You and I will talk about several times this offseason because we're not going to know until we see it. And that's the fun part of the offseason is that we see different paths to solving some of these questions and which ones do they follow and how does it play out for them. That's the fun of the offseason. I love it. When you cover bad teams, as we unfortunately talked about in the last segment, I do very much. The offseason is a fun time because it gives you positive thoughts this yeah, I see how this could work. And I feel that way about Cleveland right now. This is a team, they're on the precipice of being really good. I really do believe that. But this is a critical offseason, and those questions are good ones.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the right regime, if it's not, it means you start all over again, and the cycle of that missing it for 30 how many ever years. And that's continues.
So hard because the new regime is saddled with a quarterback.
Yep.
And not that being saddled with Deshaun Watson is the worst thing in the world, but he's not going to be for everybody, whether it's the off the field stuff or whether it's his playing style. He doesn't fit every offense, and that's then you're tailoring your next regime if you have to make a change to who can work with a quarterback, and that's not a good way to go about business. I think we've seen why regimes fail in Cleveland pretty well. One of them is trying to make pieces fit that shouldn't be fitting together, and that's a bad way. So let's certainly hope that first question gets answered resolutely yes, that this is the right regime. I think it is, but I don't feel as confident as I did 24 months ago.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair assessment.
I would agree with you wholeheartedly.